You wanted breakfast. I had no boundaries, and the contraction started in a coastal cafe. I hadn't eaten since the sonographer declared your womb a grave. I watched you push scrambled tofu around your plate. It was too late for sanitary towels, so I lined the car seat with a bag for life for the return to our seaside home. In the bathtub, I peeled your leggings sticky like wet rubber from your thighs. This is the worst holiday ever, you cried as your belly gutted 10 weeks of new beginnings, tentacles spilling, slick and quieter than a drowning. I held out hands to catch our belly-up fish, but missed, and our little gem, prized from shell, not yet pearl, splashed like innards on a fishmonger's floor. I scooped it up, like a child would a bug, curious enough to keep it in a jar on the mantelpiece, releasing it back to soil when it disturbs the guests. I just needed to make it easier, so I joked, you finally have one up on my exes, because I've held a few hearts, but never a placenta. You giggled, as if transformed to mermaid aboard our shipwrecked family. Your legs, the only loss your body has ever known. And I, your seahorse companion, gender ambivalent and capable of producing 1,000 eggs, will have 1,000 babies, I promised, as you peeked into my hands and together we marveled at our treasure.
Long travels on that subway, where we are standing with souls who just need a seat, where eyes meet without a greet, and we stare back at our feet. Headphones on, heads bop to the beats, others using them as an excuse to avoid having to speak. Where your card swipes, not once and not twice, and the MCA fare keeps spiking in price. Life on the iron horse, where the tracks or the trail, and the road to prevail comes down to not touching the rail. The third one, the worst one, where electrocution meets execution, and the sounds of musicians who are the best to do it. Where asking for change is a full-time hustle, when kids selling candy just to stay out of trouble. Where the poles keep us upright after the conductor breaks, then turns into practice grounds for dancers on empty trains. See the carts on stage for those that are brave, as well as an after party for them ethnic parades. Hit the heights for the DR, hit the X for the PR. We are subject to random search if you carry a bag. Hop the train in the planes for see them dropping a badge. Where if you see something, say something, but we never looking. And the bullshit citations could lead you to the bookings. Subway, I hope you get to ride it someday.
Thank you for riding with MTA New York City Transit.
It's 2003 and my mother tells me to drink my milk.
It's good for you. It'll make your legs longer, your nails stronger, and your hair as smooth as silk. Drink every drop, don't stop till you reach the bottom of the glass. You'll be at the top of your class. It'll make your brain sharper, your concentration better. Just remember to finish your milk.
I list the benefits of milk in my head. That's all I can think of as his hands worm their ways down my thighs. How stupid was I? In that moment, I hate milk.
Finish your milk.
I hate milk for making me tall. Screw you, milk. Why'd you make me tall? Tall but not strong. Not strong enough to throw him off me. Not smart enough to figure a way out of this mess.
Finish
Fuck
your
you,
milk.
This is all your fault. No, actually, it's capitalism. Capitalism and false advertising. I lay there despising my mother for investing in milk cartons instead of karate classes.
Finish your milk.
It's 2018 and I finally realize it's not the milk I despise but the sparkle in my mother's eyes when she spends hours talking to me about nutrition, homework and exercise. Delusional that that's all being a good parent means, but she doesn't talk about how the means to my destruction would be the lack of knowledge that harassment happens and it's not my fault, how my consent should be held with the highest regard and how rape is real. It is so real.
Finish your milk.
I think about the future a lot. How I want a daughter, and I want her to be strong and tall. But most of all, I want her to know there are things more important in life than knowing the benefits of milk.
So I'm at the roller rink. It's 2017 and Boom Boom Pow by the Black Eyed Peas beats beneath polyurethane wheels as my 4- and 7-year-old cousins get their skates laced up by my aunt, who brags about her past as a derby girl and how she'll skate laps around us literally. We've left our brothers and fathers at home because it is girls only up in here, and this is our ladies' night. I don't know how to skate very well, but I reserve my aunt's hand-holding for my cousins and stay alone near the rink's ledge until a 15-year-old boy mistakes me for the wall when he comes up behind me and grabs me by the breast. He doesn't let go until I'm falling to the ground from trying to break his grip. By the time I realize what's happened, my aunt's arguing with a police officer while I'm holding my cousin shaking. I'm only 13 years old, and all I can think, even in this moment when I want to boil my body to relieve the phantom feeling of his hands on my chest, is how grateful I am that it was me, that it wasn't them. That my cousins get to live another day as children. They're 4 and 7 years old, and I feel guilty I've made them leave. That night, my youngest cousin learned what sexual assault meant before she learned how to read. The thing about being a woman surrounded by rape culture is that it's not a matter of if, but when. I'm 17 years old now, and I've been catcalled, followed, honked at, touched, violated. The men in my family love to say not all men, but why is it all women then? Why do we insist on sending our daughters to college with pepper spray and a rape whistle? Why do we pass around sexual assault like a family heirloom? From our grandmothers to our mothers to our aunts to our sisters to me, please do not make me pass this to my cousins, but it's too late. My aunt sends me screenshots of messages from a boy in my cousin's 3rd grade class calling her baby, saying I love you, asking if he can smell her underwear. When can we stop teaching our 8-year-old girls to cope with the fact that men will talk to them this way for the rest of their lives? That day, I resented the fact that my cousin had ever learned to read, and the fact that there are girls who will never learn, baby girls who babble through teething and swollen gums and have death become their nursery rhyme, like 10-month-old Zara Scruggs, who could barely mouth the word dad before she was fatally raped by her father, who was everything a baby girl should be, happy and curious and beautiful, and innocent baby girls shouldn't die on hospital beds in blood-soaked diapers, yet Zara did. And I still somehow don't know if she would have been better off if she had survived. I don't need to be at a roller rink to know being a woman means I am constantly skating around the perversions of men. My cousins now know this too. I can only hope they'll never feel what it's like to be too young to fight back, but be told a boy's too young to be charged, because that day I'll take my cousins roller skating again. Thank you.
Tired of nothing but bad news and people complaining about inequality every time you turn on the TV? Still looking for the America you were promised? Well, wait no more. Allow me to present.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. America as you know it is dead. Going forward, please address me as the Promised Land.
Now, our experts put an insane amount of work into perfecting this here promised land. Well, I reckon there ain't a glitch they didn't fix, including
racism, homophobia, patriarchy, money glorification. Sex trafficking is still a major issue, just no longer allowed. tolerated.
Trump, Karen, Zimmerman, R. Kelly, and all other extreme offenders of humanity have been indefinitely banned from the Promised Land.
Please note, if at any point you feel the Promised Land is not for you, feel free to go back to where you.
Should you decide to stay, please take joy in the following.
Indigenous people being treated as such. Previously, there were variable fields in the code that caused their rights to this land to change instead of being fixed. You can always go back to where you.
Please also enjoy women being seen and heard without male shadows being pinned to heels, voices remaining tethered to throats without kite string echoes of patriarchy pulling them apart. Oh, and we got fixes for that gay problem, too.
Our LGBTQIA Council has replaced gay pride parades with Love Fest, as they no longer have to prove their worth. We even made an agreement with your God to reevaluate his word to fit modern worlds, the way the world has always been living in shadows.
Now back to the most reported issue. There's no need to worry about police brutality.
Just don't look so suspicious.
All our officers are trained to shoot on sight. I mean, respect your rights.
Stop resisting.
There's no need for protest in the Promised Land.
Our pavement now pushes nutrients into soil-colored skin. Gardens of black boys rise from cracks in concrete.
People previously known as minorities or immigrants are now known as valuable.
Threat.
Valuable.
The word trauma has been deleted from our memories or just crammed into the depths of minds. It never happened.
Generational wealth.
Effects of slavery.
Generational wealth has been eliminated. All wealth is now shared equally.
By the elite.
Now, doesn't this sound like a Promised Land worth pledging for?
Worth dying for.
Pledging.
Dying. Death. Genocide.
As you can see, we're still working out the kinks, but I can assure you the Promised Land will be a welcoming nation for all. Side effects include bliss,
nausea,
an overwhelming feeling of freedom,
vomiting,
newfound joy to live,
agitation,
glee,
stomach pain,
enlightenment,
mass confusion, protests, riots, unjustified killing of a people, your rights being violated daily, death, death, death. If you can't live with these minor inconveniences,
you can always go back to the America I saved you from.
The Arena Football League, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the Fast and the Furious series, Captain Planet, American Ninja Warrior, WCW Nitro. All these things lasted longer than the Confederacy. FUBU, No Limit Records, Witches of Waverly Place, That's So Raven, Teen Titans Go, Law and Order SVU, Burning Man, Lollapalooza, the gap between Frank Ocean albums, all these things lasted longer than the Confederacy. College debt. The voicemails of debt collectors played one after another like an album with infinite songs you skip. Skip and Shannon Undisputed, The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, that weird period of time The Undertaker rode a motorcycle and listened to Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit. All these things lasted longer than the Confederacy. My cousin's prison sentence, the year between when he was first eligible for parole and the year he got it. My cousin's probation. My baby cousin's baby was born 2 years ago. In 2 years, a baby will survive longer than the government. The time between the last time I called my grandma and the day she died, all these things lasted longer than the Confederacy. The Frieza saga, the filler arcs in Naruto, One Piece of One Piece, Outkast, the time between when the last Outkast song was released and now that's what I call music, Kids Bop, Kid and Play, the time it would take to play every PlayStation game, and I'm only talking about PlayStation 1, all these things lasted longer than the Confederacy. Britney Spears' reign on the top of the charts, the rivalry between NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, the collapse of the boy band era, Bad Boy Records, Bad Boys for Life, the friendship between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, all these things, you know what? I've had situationships that lasted longer than the Confederacy. My friends have had drug addictions that lasted longer than the Confederacy. When I die, girls who follow me on social media will cry and mourn for longer than the Confederacy. When I am a constellation, my stars will go out one by one as the universe dies. The sound a star makes when it's dissolving into gas is the same sound a Confederate flag makes in the breeze. The sound of surrender.